Hi everybody, it's Jenny from the Missouri Star Quilt Company, and I am here today with Leonie Bateman, and she is a wool person, which I do very little of, so I'm really excited about this.
I'm excited too to show you my technique.
Oh my gosh, so let's talk about this quilt behind us first. This is beautiful.
Thank you, Jenny. This quilt is made using my current line called Kellington Mill. So I like to combine piecing with wool applique. So you can see it's got the wool applique centre using my glue and staple technique.
I love these little churn dashes.
Who can't go past a churn dash? And beautifully quilted by a girlfriend back in Australia.
So I just have a question about the wool in general. You've got wool on there with cotton. Can you wash that?
Absolutely.
Oh,
yep.
See, that's a whole new thing. That's awesome. Look at this beautiful wool. I mean, I'm just entranced by it. It's just gorgeous. All right, so you've got a pattern.
I have.
It's got, well, you've got lots of patterns.
I do, quite a few.
Quite a few.
But today we're going to be working on this little one over here in the frame called Birdsong. It's actually out of a group of patterns, a whole little collection.
So the one pattern actually has all these little things that we have out.
Yeah, called Itty Bitties.
Oh, that's really cool.
Which is pretty cute.
That's really cute. All right, so what do we need to do this?
So all of my patterns will have a full scale design sheet, which makes it super easy. So there's no having to go to the store to enlarge it. You'll work off that design sheet.
That is, do you know what? That in and of itself is super helpful.
Absolutely. You've got to make it easy for people.
Well, especially if you're in the middle of nowhere, and where do you go to get it enlarged? You know, that's how we are here in Hamilton. Yeah.
So I've got a super duper easy technique. I use freezer paper to get my shapes onto my wool. So I'm going to step you through that first. And I use glue and staples to keep my pieces in place.
Glue and staples.
Glue and staples.
Glue and
Love
staples.
A good staple.
Awesome.
So I've stepped out this little board here. I trace all of my shapes onto freezer paper just using a mechanical pencil or whatever pen
and just regular freezer paper that you can buy at the...
Yep, you can buy at the store. Trace them out, leaving about 1/4 of an inch outside of each shape. And then I cut them out roughly just outside of the drawn line.
Oh, okay.
So the beauty of using freezer paper over a heat and bond is that it doesn't leave any sticky residue on your wool. So if you iron it onto the wrong colour or you cut it out and you've cut your previous piece out too large, it's not going to leave any and you're not going to waste any.
Okay, perfect.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So cut it out outside of the drawn line just roughly, iron it onto your chosen piece of wool and then cut it on the drawn line to get your perfect shape.
All right.
Easy as that.
Yeah, that's really easy.
So if you can cut and glue, you're halfway there.
All right, so we've got our piece now.
So you've got your piece. So I'm working on Sue Daly's linen here. So you'll notice on my design sheets, I always have reference lines just to make it a bit easier. It's all about making it easy. I'm going to fold my piece in half, finger press.
And this is your background.
This is my background. Finger press a seam, a
fold.
Reference line, another one. And I'm just going to line those fold lines up onto my design sheet. And if we've got a little pin handy, I could pin that there just so it doesn't move.
There we go.
Keep it in place. And then there's a couple of little tools that I like to use to make life easier. I'm just going to step that back there a bit. A sandpaper board. Now what this is going to do is prevent all of our wool pieces from slipping when we're applying the glue to the back. So I use a water-soluble glue.
The lapel stick, which I love. I love that your needles don't stick through it, yeah.
And so if I was to try and put this glue...
Let me move this right up here.
If I was to try and put that glue on that stem, it will stretch and it will slip.
Okay.
If I put it on the sandpaper board, doesn't move.
Yeah, that is a handy tip.
So you really, really do need to have a sandpaper board. You can see how much glue I've used. I use quite a lot of glue. I don't want this thing to move. So I'll bring this back into
the frame. Here we go.
Center here. And following that design sheet underneath, we're just going to position our stem into place. I don't know if you can see that design there, that line.
You really can see through it. You may not be able to see through it with the camera, but you really can see the print through it.
A little bit longer than I need, so I'm just going to give it that a little snip. Press that into place. Now, especially the long stem, I want to show you how easy it is to position a long stem with curves. You don't need to cut the wool on the bias, you just cut it on the straight. See how that sandpaper board just grips that?
It does. Fabulous. Yeah, that is a really, really good handy tip.
So I'm just going to start at the top, and I'm just going to let that stem rest on top of the background.
And it curves so nice and easily.
Yep. And where it's got a bit of a dog leg there, I'm going to tease it out with my scissors, and I'll show you in a tick. Okay. So see how it's got a little bit of what I call a dog leg?
I wondered what a dog leg was.
You know, a dog's crooked hind leg.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. There we go.
So just tease it into place with the tip of your scissors, and you're going to create that really nice smooth curve. And again, it's a little bit long there, so just snip it off.
And the glue just holds it on there.
And the glue holds it in place. Use my sandpaper board again just to press it in place. That's we always feel like we need to stretch it out, you know, to flatten it down, but we actually just want to press it down in place so it's nice and flat. And there it is. And that's how easy it is to put a stem down.
That's really, really cool. Because usually, you know, I mean, any other type of fabric, you're cutting on the bias. And
yeah, exactly. But
That's
with
really
wool,
cool.
you don't need to do that. So you can do really long binds and flowy things and crisscrosses, but no need to cut on the bias.
Very nice.
Okay. So now we've already prepared a few little elements earlier, and we do the same with the positioning of all of our other shapes. So we just run a bit of glue. As you can see from before, I'm pretty heavy-handed with the glue. But the reason I just don't use dabs of glue is because it will loosen. So I like to glue the whole piece. Following the design underneath again, just position it in place. And you're going to continue with all of your pieces.
This is really fun. It's just really cut and paste, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Takes you back to your kindergarten days. If you can cut and you can use a glue stick, you're halfway there.
There we go.
It's as simple as that.
I have to look over here and see. Oh, yeah.
So it's coming together.
Sure is.
And what I love about wool, it's instant gratification, and I'm all about instant gratification.
Yeah. with our kind of personalities, we do like that. Oh, look, it's done. How fun is that?
So you'll notice on the wool there's a bit of a rib side and what I refer to as a flat side.
Let me look. Yeah, okay, I see that.
So I tend to use the rib side, you'll see here, I tend to use the rib side as the wrong side.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So there we go. That's all done. Pop that on there. Just need to add some leaves.
That is very cool and so quick.
It is, it is. We're going to move this one out of the way and bring over this other one that we prepared earlier.
Instant
and we've
gratification.
Got our leaves there ready to go. So how's that?
That is beautiful.
So you see these little cutouts as well. In some of my work, I will pop a piece of cotton fabric behind there. And
Oh,
so that's,
how cute.
I call it reverse applique.
Yeah.
So it just creates another element too. Bit more colour in there. If you put a bit of wool behind, bit of extra depth. So we've got all of that positioned, and then I'm going to bring in my trusty stapler. So my technique is using glue and staples. So I've glued it all down, and now we're going to get in and use the stapler.
Stapling actually really works with wool. When I was a girl, if I had a wool skirt on and the hem came out, I would staple it, and it doesn't show.
It doesn't.
Now, what is the purpose for stapling it on? Because you've glued it.
I have glued it, but you find that when you start working with that piece in your hand, that glue is going to loosen and
so
shift.
this is going to keep it on here, even if it takes you a month to do the handwork. All right, that makes total sense.
You're not going to drop half your leaves down the street when you're on your way to class. So the other reason I like to use staples too, pins get caught.
Oh,
they get caught in your clothing, you prick your fingers, your thread gets caught around them. So staples are the way to go.
And this is for if you're going to hand applique or so?
Even when I'm machine blanket stitching, I'll put staples in.
Really?
Yep. I'm just a little bit mindful of where I'm going to put them. So you can see I'm stapling all through the centre of those leaves. Don't want it too close to the edge because that's going to be hard to blanket stitch. So I'm just going to pop that one out and redo it. You can see how easy they are to remove.
Sure.
Just pops out there.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
I know.
Staples and glue.
Staples and glue will be your best friend when you're working with wool. Now when I'm doing a stem, rather than staple through the centre like I've done with all of these other elements, I tend to staple along one edge. And the reason I do that is because when I'm blanket stitching, if I staple right through the centre, it's going to be in the way. The the further it is away from the other edge, the easier it is for me to applique. So I come up here, sew this edge first, remove the staples, and then come down the other side and sew.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, yeah, that makes total sense.
So I just come in, and I want to, whoops, I would never normally staple over the edge there.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll forgive you this time. This one time.
Thanks, Jenny. I was scared there for a minute. That one's a bit dodgy too. But I would tail them together like that, because if you put one here and one up here, this bit of glue underneath here, this will loosen. So you need to staple.
How
and that's
interesting.
How
I would have never known that.
Yeah. Otherwise your stem is going to lift. So
well,
tail
this
to tail.
makes this completely portable. I mean,
Absolutely.
like you could take this anywhere.
So I say to ladies, you know, a lot of the prep work they can do at home, all of that tracing out, cutting out, throw it onto their background, glue, staple, and then take it to class and just spend the day stitching.
Absolutely.
Yep, it's that easy.
All right, so let's look at some of these finished things. These are other projects in the same pattern.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Yep,
So,
that's right.
So basically we've used the same types of shapes.
Yes.
So cool. So this is one of these.
It is one of those. It's a heat pack for those warm, cold.
Awesome.
Warm heat pack, cold days.
Little pin cushion right here. So cute. And this?
A doorstop.
Perfect.
Or whatever else you'd like to use it for.
And this little,
and
so cute.
That's a little mug rug.
That is adorable. That is really adorable.
It's cute.
Well, I think this is going to help everybody get on their way to working with wool.
I hope so, because it's super easy to do.
Gosh, yeah. And do you have any, like, certain needles you use, or thread, or that sort of thing?
I like to use Sue Daly's milliner's needles. Now, the reason I like to use these is they're long, they're sharp, they're fine, they've got a good eye on them, and they flex. So when you're taking those nice chunks of the blanket stitch, of the wool through the cotton, they will bend nicely. So those, a water-soluble glue stick.
Yep.
Is going to be what you need. The sandpaper board, which we spoke about earlier.
Stapler.
The stapler is a must-have for my technique. And I suggest, if you're cutting out lots of the same shape, that you perhaps make a template out of some template paper.
Oh, that's a good idea.
A lot of ladies find it difficult to trace around a shape. So if they're only having to do it once and then make a template, it's easier to trace around a template than it is off a drawn design sheet.
Well, thank you so much. This is really, really cool.
Good. I hope you like it.
I have learned a lot. Thank you. Yes, I do like it very much. I'm actually going to give wool a try.
Good.
Well,
excellent.
And these are just scrumptious colors. It would be really fun.
Absolutely yummy, aren't they?
Oh, they're so yummy. So this has been so fun. Thank you so much for coming.
Jen. It's been great being here.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you. So we hope you enjoyed this tutorial with Leonie Bateman and her Itty Bitties from the Missouri Star Quilt Company.